And good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Most Important Conversations Daily Meditations. We host these meditations Monday through Friday. The overarching theme of our meditations is liberation, specifically as it relates to liberating yourself from your learned conditioning, from your programming that your friends, family, and community programmed you with and conditioned you with when you were very young. We liberate ourselves so that we can step into our power and connect to the creator within, to our creative instincts, our creative essence. All human beings at their source are creators. And so, in order to liberate ourselves, or rather, in order to connect to our creativity, we must liberate ourselves. And then every day during our meditations, we also begin with a talk, and that talk, the content of which is derived from our main creative program called Whole Life Architecture. And that program is all about helping participants in the live interactive workshop learn to connect to the creator within, to be able to create a life by design as opposed to merely tolerating a life by default. We've been speaking about creativity for the past month or so, around the beginning of the new year, almost a month, I guess. And over the last week, we've been talking a lot about imagination and the importance and the power of imagination. And one of the things that gets in the way of our ability to connect to our imagination is how grooved our mind is. And by that I mean habituated. How much in a groove we are in terms of our way of being, unable to see, unable to experience life in any other way other than the way that we have always habitually experienced it. That gets in the way of our ability to be a creator because we can only create within the confines of the grooves. Another way of saying this is what people, speak of when they say to think outside the box. What they're really saying is to think outside the groove. The box is the groove. The box is the limitations of your perception of what's possible for you. And the power of our imagination is that it allows us to simulate within our own mind new possibilities, but even one's imagination is limited by the grooves. And so this is where neuroplasticity comes in. And this is where the type of meditations that we do both watcher observer meditations, but we also do something called a neural sculpting meditation. And the purpose of neural sculpting meditations is to begin to develop that neuroplasticity, to be able to basically assuage the brain in such a way that it is no longer in a reaction mode to anything new, but it becomes more pliable and open to possibility. A way to think about this is when we were all children. When we were all children, everything occurred to us as new because it was new. Every experience was new. Every reaction or response that we had to those new experiences was new. We were experiencing ourself new. We were experiencing other people new. And there was an enormous amount of neuroplasticity because there was no groove in the mind. There was no habituation. And as we get older, we start to get trapped in what we're right about. We start to believe we know things. We start to believe we know things even to the point where we cut off possibility, where we no longer experiment, try, where we become risk averse and we become afraid of failure. And so we try nothing new or very little. And the new things that we consider new are still within the framework of what feels safe and convenient and comfortable and effortless. It's only effortless because it's what you've always done with maybe a different shade or a very slight variation, but nothing that is way outside of the groove that you're in. So, when in the 1980s, when Madonna sang the song, Get Into the Groove, As far as our work is concerned, it's actually get out of the groove. Know that the groove is there and get out of it. Start to try on new things. Start to dip your toe into uncertainty. This is the way to start to develop neuroplasticity, and this is the access point to reconnecting to yourself as a creator, which you are innately at your essence, a creator. And so this morning, as we move into our meditation, I would like to invite you to consider that even though you may not be present to the work and the impact that is going on in your brain when you do the neuroplasticity meditation that we do, the neural sculpting meditation, it is having an impact. That every time you nudge your brain in the direction of more neuroplasticity, every time you try something new, every time you are open to a new possibility, you are actually expanding, you are titrating the parameters, the size of the groove. It becomes bigger and bigger and eventually breaks down. And so, in the same way that we go to the gym to build muscle, to build up our cardio endurance, we can go to the cognitive gym, so to speak, and we can build up our neuroplasticity, which makes our access point to our own innate creativity easier and easier over time, which allows us to bring our imagination back online. Remember, all of these things that were innate to us as creators, as people who dreamed and imagined, as children who were connected to our desires, who were excited to try new things and to experience new things. This was all conditioned out of us. But it's still in the essence of who you are. And so the neural sculpting meditation helps to enhance neuroplasticity. And you'll notice the longer you do it, the longer you participate in it. If you join us, we do it 3 days a week out of the 5. The more you do it, the more life will start to occur to you as less threatening. You'll experience less resistance. You'll be open to more possibility. You'll start having creative instincts come online. You'll have creative impulses to create certain things. And your aliveness will start to increase as a result, because humans feel most alive when we are creating, when we are imagining, when we are no longer of the world, but can be safely on the outside of it, in it, but not of it. We can participate in it, but we don't have to be of its conditioning anymore. We don't have to behave the way the world expects us to behave. We don't have to react the way the world expects us to react. And so this morning, as we move into our meditation, I invite you to just, even in the back of your mind right now, give some consideration to the areas of your life where you may be stuck in a groove, boxed in. You may have even put yourself there. Where do you feel trapped? Where do you feel not at power? Where do you feel like you're in a rut, like you're in Groundhog Day in your life? It might be your whole life. It might just be a part of it. Where do you feel stuck? And know that the more you practice the neural sculpting meditation with us, the more you develop your neuroplasticity so that it becomes, your brain becomes more pliable to new experiences, new ideas, new opportunities. The less you're trapped in what you're right about, the more aliveness you'll start to experience, and the more you will start to be able to create your life by design. So with that, I'd invite you to all get into a comfortable position this morning. And I'm going to invite Mignon to join us and guide us through today's neural sculpting meditation.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chad, and
Chad.
good morning, everyone. So, as Chad said, we will explore a neural sculpting meditation this morning. And you may hear me spell out words or dial things up or down along with fun imagery, all by design as part of the neural sculpting meditation process. It's a process that helps calm the nervous system, prime the brain for creating supportive ideas, and allows agency in how you move through life. And with a regular neural sculpting practice, it can be incredibly supportive in reinforcing desired outcomes and creating lasting shifts. And I hope it serves you well. So let's get started. And for the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to go on a meditation journey together. And this journey is going to be about releasing and letting go of what does not serve us so that the body no longer has to hold what doesn't work. And we will start this journey together by bringing our awareness to the body, inviting the body to do whatever it needs to do at this very moment in order to get to a place of comfort and rest. Then you might like to adjust the cushions, roll out your wrists or ankles, or allow the shoulders to drop. Because your body is nowhere else but right here, right now, what would you like to do to get even more comfortable? Maybe it would feel good to take a long, deep breath in and slowly exhale, letting the air flow out through your nose and mouth, feeling your breath smooth and warm as it's released into the space around you. Your breath is breathing itself all the time, automatically. And with your awareness, you can notice that and you can influence that. You can influence the flow of your breath as it flows in and out. On your next inhale, you might notice the air expanding in your lungs and moving down into the belly, then rising back up on the exhale, releasing out of the body, clearing and softening. Your breath is doing an amazing job as it naturally and predictably flows in and out, filling you and emptying you. And with a deeper inhale and longer exhale, your body and muscles might find it easier to sink deeper into the surface, supporting you, relaxing even further. And you might want to connect even deeper releasing any tension, allowing the body to sink even deeper onto the cushion or chair or ground. Your body is right here, breathing and settling. And your environment may also be adding to your basic comfort. In what ways do you notice the environment adding to your comfort at this moment? Maybe it's a cozy chair or a favorite blanket or a comfortable and familiar place. Maybe knowing all of your needs are met at this moment is comforting. You have food and water and shelter, and your breath is breathing, and your organs are working, all things happening. Because you're breathing and settled, your breath is invited to flow comfortably and naturally in and out. And as your body continues to slow itself down, becoming more calm and relaxed, your thoughts are free to wander and engage your creative mind. So, what would it be like to imagine you were one bird in a large flock of birds that are flying and changing direction all together, creating amazing shapes in the sky, memorizing, one part of a whole, but still separate and free. How would that feel? Or maybe it would be more interesting to imagine being one fish in a school of fish, moving and changing directions deep in the sea, in the water, shimmering and liquid. This is your creative mind. Your body is always listening. And because your body is listening so well, I would remind you that you are the author of this journey, a journey to identify and release what does not serve you. So I wonder if you might bring to mind a simple STRESS, stress, or maybe anxiety that your body has been carrying. This might be recent or it might be ancient. It might come as a conversation or memory. And this particular stress that you're imagining at this moment might have a color. Maybe it's blue or burgundy or striped or something else. And how would your creative mind describe the texture or temperature of this stress? Maybe it's rough like gravel or sharp like shards. Maybe it's really cold or really hot. Maybe it's heavy or slippery. What comes to mind for you? And all the while, your breath is breathing itself, and your body is supported, and you are exploring and identifying and imagining. If you were to reach down into the body with your mind and scan your body to find the location wherever you might believe this stress lives, where does your mind go? Are these colors and textures heavy in your belly or sharp in your back? Maybe it's cold in your hands or feet, or maybe it's hot and in your mouth. What do you observe that is particular to you? And you might remember how well your body listens to your thoughts. So the invitation is to use your thoughts in this moment to imagine doing something different or better with what you are observing. If what you are observing is stuck and heavy or slippery, perhaps you imagine melting it, letting it slip right out of you. Or if it's too sharp, imagine filing down a sharp edge. And if it's too intense, imagine dialing it down from 10 down to 5, down to 1. What does your creative mind get to do at this moment when you give it permission? As creative mind imagines, your body listens. Sometimes it listens so subtly you don't even notice. And sometimes it listens so intently so that it's obvious. And because your mind is shifting this particular stress in this particular moment, how would you like to notice your body listening? Do you become aware of space? Do you become aware of shifting sensation? Maybe a muscle somewhere softens. What do you notice? You are bearing witness to your body's response to your mind. And if you imagined, felt, perceived a shift that supports you better, you are welcome to remember that shift by grounding into it. And you're invited to place your non dominant hand on the part of your body that is shifting. Or instead, you're invited to make a hand gesture reminiscent of this moment so that when you make it later, tomorrow, or beyond, you're reminded of the shift you experienced today. Embodying this shift with your own hand. Or what if this shift could be a scent? What could it smell like? A scent that could you could breathe in tomorrow that would bring you right back here. And you are invited to use your next few breaths to settle into this shift, inviting it to expand or continue shifting if that's comfortable. The breath is breathing itself. Body is still supported. And if you could come up with one activation word that you could say to yourself tomorrow that would bring you right back to your capacity to shift, what would that word be? This might be a word that means something to you, or it might be totally zany. Maybe you imagine it spelled across the sky in bright, bold colors or on a billboard. And each and every time you use this word or your hand gesture or smell that scent or go on this journey, you will strengthen that shift of what does not serve you. And all of this is already inside of you, and you can invite it to integrate more and more along with your breathing. Even when you move your awareness out from the inner landscape to the sounds out around you in the room, to the way your clothes feel against your skin. You're invited to take a few more breaths at your own pace and gently open your eyes when you're ready to end your release meditation. And I thank you for joining today's neural sculpting meditation. You're welcome to take a few moments to journal about your experience if that feels good. You're always welcome to join us for our weekly meditations, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific. I'm Mignon Harris, a certified neural sculpting facilitator, and the original release meditation was created by Lisa Wimberger, founder of the Neural Sculpting Institute. Wishing you a gorgeous day. Be well.